I leave for one goddamn week, and this is what you people do with the place?
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more info. And live from Studio K, I messed up the point again because I've been away for a week. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Make sure to become a member of the Inner Circle today by downloading the Circle K app for free. I go away for a week, and the wheels just come off. Not just the Arizona Cardinals. It appears to be everything. But when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, one thing became abundantly clear for me on Sunday. After a heartbreaking, embarrassing, maybe the worst loss in Arizona Cardinals / Phoenix Cardinals history against the Titans, they come back without Kyler Murray. They come back and Marvin Harrison Jr. gets a concussion. They come back and they're down to Bam Knight starting at running back. And yet somehow the offense looked more efficient. Somehow the offense looked like it was actually capable of making plays. Somehow Jacoby Brissett crossed the 300-yard mark threshold in the game. Somehow Zay Jones figured out how to catch footballs and Trey McBride found the end zone. There is a QB controversy, or maybe competition, when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals right now. And you might say, well, you've got a $40+ million man as starting quarterback in Kyler Murray. That can't be the case. It can be, and it is. It's the reality of where we're at. But I don't think it's because Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. You'd be insane if that's actually your stance. Because Jacoby Brissett is not a more talented quarterback than Kyler Murray. He's not a better quarterback in totality than Kyler Murray. In fact, he's probably not a starting quarterback in this league. But there's a quarterback competition, borderline controversy in Arizona. And it's because of Drew Petzing. Because I think there's two things that could happen here. You change the offense and or you get rid of Drew Petzing or you bench Kyler Murray. Because they've doubled down when it comes to Drew Petzing. It's pretty clear that Drew Petzing is Jonathan Gannon's guy and is ride or die right now. And that offense is not built and suited for Kyler Murray. Some will argue that there is no offense that's suited to Kyler Murray. I'd say Cliff Kingsbury found some ways to leverage him to his best. But this offense, I think, is built for more of a quarterback like Jacoby Brissett. And if you're not going to fundamentally change the offense, if you're not going to look at it and say, how do we play to Kyler Murray's strengths? And you need to win games, I think that Jacoby Brissett's the guy that's going to do that for you. He proved on Sunday against Indianapolis that his skill set fits what they're trying to do. Kyler Murray has had two 300-yard games under Drew Petzing. Jacoby Brissett started one game and has one. Somehow with less offensive talent, he did more. He had Marv being the highest graded offensive player for the Cardinals, according to PFF, before he went out with the concussion. This offense is built for a quarterback like Jacoby Brissett. And if you're trying to win games, if there is a hot seat when it comes to Drew Petzing. And a seat that's maybe a little warmer than it's ever been for Jonathan Gannon. You're going to turn to the guy that is going to be able to run that offense a little differently. Do I think that you should throw Kyler Murray out? No. We've talked about it. I think you should have changed the offensive system. Great coaches look at the players that they have, the immense talent that they have, and tailor their system to that. Drew Petzing feels like that kind of good to average coach that has his system that he's married to, and you must fit into that system. You must figure out how to operate within it. Well, some of that's a little on Kyler Murray for not figuring out the best way to operate within it. But there was a comfort level with Jacoby Brissett and letting him have some of those pass plays. He stayed in that pocket a lot longer than Kyler did as well, which helps in this offense. Jacoby Brissett, in some weird, bizarre way, probably gives you a better chance to win, at least over the next few weeks. And I think what they're going to do is let Kyler fully heal and let it see how Jacoby Brissett plays out against the Packers and maybe into that Monday night game against Dallas. And if we see another 300-yard performance, another look at potentially winning games, maybe pulling off a couple upsets, at least one. I don't know that really beating Dallas is an upset, but beating Green Bay next week at home would be an upset. Then I think at that point, you're probably looking at Jacoby Brissett getting more starts. Don't necessarily think it's right. Don't necessarily think that it's going to be some kind of long-term move, but I think if you're not moving on for Petzing, you're not changing the offense, you're changing the quarterback. Because you have to win this year. And at 2-4, with as many disappointing losses as you had, including the embarrassment that was the Tennessee Titans loss, something's got to change. And it does not appear it'll be Drew Petzing. I think it might be Kyler Murray. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. Shane, I'm home.
Yay.
Thanks for holding down the fort last week with the mayor.
It was really hard. He was being really nasty.
It's insane to me that he managed to burn the whole place down while I was gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fields are still beautiful and green,
well,
and the sky is still blue.
That was the rain. Well, the sky's not really blue the last 4 days around here. It's been gray.
What is this then?
Oh, here, yes, in our ecosystem.
That's all that matters.
In Arizona.
All that matters is our ecosystem.
That is fair. I mean, you look at this. I left the Mercury. We're feeling pretty good because they almost won game one.
Yeah, but here's what you're doing right now. You're saying that it's everyone else's fault when I think it's your fault for leaving.
No, it's everybody else's fault.
Okay, that's fair.
I will take I'll take blame. Maybe it was my fault. I don't care. Things have been horrible over the last week. I mean, including fans having to get up at 5 and 4 a.m. to watch two Suns preseason games.
Hey,
which I did.
They weren't bad.
They weren't. I mean, they were bad because I was up at 4 a.m., but they weren't bad in general. So, Francois, I'm going to read this comment from one of our bias here because I think he brings up a good point, and I want to get your thoughts here too. Michael Wilson had a decent game. How does Kyler not throw to him? I also found his post-game glowing praise of Jacoby Brissett interesting as well because a handful of weeks ago, he came off as distraught in the locker room with how the passing game was going. It felt like that may have been a guy saying, I kind of like this guy more. Shane, where do you net out on what this quarterback competition? I don't think it's quite a controversy, but potential competition that we're looking at. Well, what are your feelings on it?
I mean, there's a reason why Kyler Murray is getting paid the money he is, and Jacoby Brissett is a journeyman veteran. Like, Kyler Murray's upside is plentiful. There's so much to where you look at him, and when things are clicking, he can be so good. He also is a guy that can create things on his own when things aren't going right, and that's a type of quarterback that the Cardinals need.
Hey, Jacoby did that in slow motion yesterday.
Yeah, that was awesome. What I will say is don't expect that much. There was no contain on Jacoby Brissett, and for good reason. But yeah, Jacoby was awesome, and it's good to have a formidable backup quarterback. That's why you have that. That being said, when things should be going right with Kyler Murray, it's not like Jacoby Brissett unlocked the offense because he was throwing like 40-yard crossers and deep balls to Marv that were like, no, that wasn't what was happening. He was leading an efficient march, and maybe the coaching staff can look at that and be like, okay. Like, it reminds me a little bit of it could remind me a little bit of when everyone kind of figured out the Chiefs for a year after they won the Super Bowl, when everyone was playing too high for the first time, like at such a high rate against Mahomes, and Mahomes was like, oh crap, what's going on? And the whole country was freaking out that they figured the Chiefs out. And then 6 weeks later, it was check down Charlie, and we saw Mahomes start to take the easy stuff. Yeah. Maybe that's what Kyler needs to do. Maybe Kyler needs to simplify the offense.
No, he was captain check down in those first weeks.
Yeah, but it was after the play broke down. It wasn't just 2 steps and we're out.
I look at it, and after 7 years, I mean, we've all been in relationships that last a long time and maybe shouldn't. Maybe you're just it's run its course. I mean, this is the 7th season with Kyler. We're seeing a lot of the same things. I look at it, and I don't think the play calls were vastly different yesterday from Petzing. I think it was a lot of the same stuff. The reason it looked better was because Jacoby Brissett was connecting on it where we weren't connecting on it. Well, Kyler was back there. It does not feel like there is a lot to hope for with potential is great until it becomes the crutch that you are sitting on waiting for it to be fulfilled. Josh Jackson had potential. Dragan Bender had potential. Josh Rosen had potential. Potential only matters when you live up to it. And Kyler is at that, I think, has crossed that Rubicon where potential isn't enough. Performance is what it is. And when Jacoby Brissett, a career backup, is surpassing you in performance, there's questions to be had. And Jacoby Brissett is not the answer to the quarterback situation long term. He might not be Mr. Right, but he might be Mr. Right now. And I think that's what the Cardinals are looking for. I mean, M in the chat talking about Leinart. That's another guy that had an immense potential and did not live up to it. So at some point, I don't know. I look at it and I go, you're not changing the play caller. Maybe you got to change the guy that's running the plays. Shane, any final thoughts? Tell me I'm wrong.
I really think that game was called differently yesterday. Like, I think they came out with a sense of urgency when it came to scoring points, and that's why it translated so much. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett made some awesome plays on 3rd down and some really good throws, but I didn't see anything that Jacoby Brissett did that Kyler wouldn't have done.
But why did it change that? Why did it not change against the Titans? Like, to me,
because they didn't throw the ball.
Was it a comfort level between Petzing and Brissett? Does he feel more comfortable calling those plays for a guy he thinks is gonna convert on him? There's so many questions. Why at this point? And there's only one vast difference. The guy throwing the ball, he had less talent on the field with him. I mean, Zay Jones wound up being his top receiver.
Well, he was catching the ball.
I don't know. I want to see at least one more week of Jacoby Brissett, because maybe he falls flat on his face and we go, okay.
Could someone in the chat do some research for me? When's the last time Kyler Murray threw 44 passes? 44.
Do you trust him to throw that many? And if you don't, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
I have so many questions about it.
Yeah.
And maybe Petzing will answer some of them this week in his presser, but my guess is not. We're just going to get platitudes and the same crap that we've heard in press conferences. But we were talking about how bad things have gone since I was gone. And we will talk more Cardinals with Bo Brock shortly. But while I was gone, things got so bleak that yesterday after the Cardinals loss, I got desperate. And I said, you know what? There's got to be something that can help. There's got to be something that I can do to help out when it comes to Arizona sports. And I turned to the Seattle Mariners. And no, we're not going to run a fish race at every game. But there was a Seattle Mariners fan when things looked bleak this season that turned to Etsy and decided to find an Etsy witch. Yes, we've talked about it on the program. Etsy witches are real. And I said, you know what? It is time to break whatever hex, whatever bad juju, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to Arizona sports. And I turned to Spells by Ida. I did an extensive search on Etsy to find the right Etsy witch. And I said, I need you to break this curse. I need you to cleanse whatever it is, exorcise the demons that have haunted us since 1968, the things that have crushed us over the years, the things that have caused us to be losers when it comes to this, because I had enough. After that loss yesterday, I was done. I could not watch any more of this. And guess what? Last night, she came through. And I got a message this morning that said, Greg, that is my given name, the energy now stands in alignment for renewal. She said the word. So-called curse has been cleansed and collective energy has been re-anchored in light and possibility. From this point forward, each season can build upon a fresh, powerful foundation of strength, teamwork, and restored faith. We are back. We are to where we've never been before. We are cleansed, all right? I spent hard-earned money to cleanse us as a city, right? We now have had a witch, an Etsy witch, the most trusted name in sports, cleanse our aura. And she used the word alignment, the sun's word. I'm feeling good. I'm thinking things turn around, all because we turned to an unconventional source. And the Seattle Mariners have done just that. And they are knocking on the doorstep of actually playing in the World Series and won their first series in 25 years. So there you go. I sacrificed for you. And hopefully that does the trick, because nothing else has over the years. Before
we get to break, can I be a little nasty?
You always are. Go ahead, Sean.
Why would the Mariners be knocking on the floor?
Did I say the floor? I meant the door.
No, you said knocking on the doorstep, which a lot of people say.
They're on the doorstep or knocking on the door. All right.
Just wanted to, make sure. I want you to be 1% better every day,
I'm trying, and I've got about 99% to go after that, so we'll be good. Also, I don't know if I've caused more damage or actually fixed things by turning to a witch, but now we've done it. On the other side of the break, Bo Brock, a man that does not need to be uncursed because he's the best in the business, will join us, and we'll talk more Cardinals right after this. My friends at Circle K will take care of you. I was in California, and I could not find a Circle K where we happen to be, and I cannot tell you how bad the experience was. I won't name it. This isn't about a shame game. This is about uplifting Circle K's A game, right? They are the best in the business, and I can tell you after a week of not having them, I had some withdrawals from my Circle K time. And I went there this morning to get my personal fuel and my car's fuel yesterday, because that's what you do when you go to Circle K. I got my caffeine, and I got my car filled up using the discount that I get for being an Inner Circle member. When you sign up, you can get 25 cents off per gallon in your first 5 fill-ups. Then you can get 3 cents off per gallon after that. And then you hit that ESPO level, it's 5 cents off per gallon. I've been telling you about this for what feels like years now. If you have not signed up, you are missing out. Download the Circle K app today. All you gotta do is put in a little information, and bam, you are part of the Inner Circle for free. It is that easy. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply like in life. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details. Mountain America Credit Union, the best 4 words when it comes to your money. And right now, you can become a member of the My Style checking account. You can get one of those by becoming a member at MACU. Super easy, and we all need checking accounts, right? So why wouldn't you do it? Because when you become a member of the My Style checking account, you can get restaurant deals. You can get mobile phone protection. You're going to get telehealth access. You're going to get identity protection. You're going to get loan rate discounts. And if you're trying to buy a home, you're trying to start the dream business of your lifetime, Loan rate discounts are huge. Offers on travel events and more. Make My Style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. And I talked about it before the break, but I said, we're going to talk Cardinals today on a loser Monday. What do you call it when they don't win? It's a victory Monday when they lose, or when they win. But when they lose, it's a loser Monday. But I bring in the biggest winner we have at PHNX. It is Bo Brock. Bo, how are you, my friend?
I have so many questions about this cleansing we just underwent.
Fire away.
When she says renewal, like, who does she see in the quarterback position going forward with this renewal?
Oh, not a contract renewal, unless it's Jacoby Brissett, I believe. That will not be the case. A renewal maybe back to not losing to teams like the Titans. A renewal maybe back to the Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner. I don't know. Maybe just the hope coming back at some point this year. Any of those things would work for me.
I think we would all sign up for that. And if you squinted really hard yesterday, I think Jacoby Brissett, you might have seen Carson Palmer or Kurt Warner when he was throwing passes.
You mean mobility-wise?
Mobility and the return of 300-yard passing games, which we saw with Brissett throwing for 320 yesterday.
We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Is there quarterback competition? I'm not ready to say controversy, but competition here in Arizona now?
I think that Brissett's lone performance was undeniable, and that the offense looked the best that it's looked all season. And, there might be some runway here, Espo, to avoid a true quarterback controversy because, with the injury that Kyler Murray's dealing with, if he plays too early, it could result in a season-ending injury. Could you, obviously under the guise of Kyler getting healthier and then seeing if Jacoby Brissett could maybe put together back-to-back solid performances, then you could, going into a bye week, really kind of dig in on controversy without it really starting. But, like Brissett's performance yesterday was the best we've seen from a quarterback throwing the football this season. And I don't think that's a debate.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that you have to play him against Green Bay just to understand if it was a complete fluke or something that can be replicated against a very good defense. And to your point, you have the built-in Kyler excuse, and it sounded like yesterday with some of the reports, it was already hedging the bet where this could be 2 weeks, and they might want to wait till after that bye week. I don't see how you don't play Brissett on Sunday against the Packers and not try to understand it. But there's been a lot of talk, and including the biased in the chat, talking about was the play calling significantly different yesterday with it, and is that why things have happened? I struggle with this because if that was in your bag, why weren't you calling it with Kyler? Were you not confident that he could? Were you more confident in Jacoby Brissett? Was this just desperation? And if it was, why the hell didn't it start against the Titans where there was no better place to be desperate than in that game?
Right. I think as far as the start of the Titans game, it looked similar. I think as far as just the plays in the playbook, they're all the same. They're executed differently. And they're also, as far as the Cardinals chasing a lead, unlike they've really kind of done to start the season, which is kind of crazy to say because they've lost 4 straight, that they've had leads, especially against the Titans, for the majority of the game before squandering it at the end. I think that Drew Petzing was just more consistent in running out, plays that were going to be more versed towards 11 personnel in the shotgun, throwing downfield than he has with Kyler Murray, most of the season. But for the most part, it's the same playbook. It's just, I think Jacoby Brissett was given the opportunity to start and finish throwing the football, where I think Kyler Murray, it's been way herky-jerky as far as him being put in a position like Jacoby was yesterday.
Well, I mean, and Jacoby did it with less, let's be honest, less offensive talent out there after Marvin Harrison Jr. went out with the head injury, and you're down to Bam Knight running the ball. Jacoby made it happen with much less talent out there. And it seemed, at least to me, and Bo, you've got a more discerning eye for this, that he was more willing to stand in that pocket and try to go through his progressions to make it happen.
Well, and Kyler Murray's, best talent has become maybe a bit of a burden when it goes to that staying in the pocket where, every single kind of instinct or feel he has tells him to get out and maybe make a play with his legs. Jacoby Brissett has really no other option outside of the one play. He went full Big Ben Roethlisberger where he, rumbled for 12 yards. But for the most part, he stood tall. He stood patiently in the pocket. I think he was maybe a little bit more slower in a good sense in going through his reads and was able to kind of pick apart, for the most part, that Colts defense. And, maybe that's something that Kyler Murray, from watching from the sidelines, I know, going into his 7th year, it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks, but, maybe he saw how you could really run efficiently this offense. But, yeah, Jacoby Brissett was fantastic yesterday. That's something that I don't think anybody can deny or run from. And now you got to figure out what was the big difference. And I think as far as the pocket presence was the main factor there.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a point where you're either moving on from the offensive coordinator and Drew Petzing, or you're going to wind up at least sitting Kyler Murray for a little time to see what you have in Jacoby Brissett, because this doesn't feel like there's any other answer. We've seen what goes on when it's Kyler, but they seem pretty married to Drew Petzing. It seems like Jonathan Gannon is going to stick with his guy there. So to me, it's one or the other.
Right. Well, and look, Drew Petzing, it'd be tough now after their best offensive performance to say, okay, time to cut the cord and move forward. Obviously, like you've got to be as good the following week, and it's going to be a week-to-week process. But no, I don't get the sense that I think this bought Drew Petzing a little bit more time as far as just kind of the duo of Petzing and Kyler that we were going to rely heavily upon going into year 3 to take the Cardinals to where we want them to go, and they've fallen short of that. Yeah, there's no doubt. Like if the losses continue to pile up offensively, there's going to be wholesale changes, and it's not maybe one or the other. It could be both get blown out and the Cardinals have a complete offensive rebuild. And then we'll see who else is kind of left in the wreckage if the losses continue. Because regardless of if you get a good performance from Jacoby next week against the Packers, if it's another loss, the Arizona Cardinals, things have snowballed and they really need to figure out, what they can do to just win football games. I think you were let down by the defense yesterday, but as far as Petzing goes, I think he lives to see another day as far as the play caller. We'll see if they can maybe put together, regardless who the quarterback is, back-to-back solid performances on that side of the football.
Did Michael Wilson's comments after the game strike you in any way, given how they were in contrast to how he was speaking earlier in the season?
I think, just when you get when you have a good performance, I think you have a little bit more juice. You're a little bit more confident, talking in front of microphones. And when we last talked to Michael Wilson a couple of weeks ago, completely defeated. So, I take that with a grain of salt. I don't think Michael Wilson is out there to make any kind of points during his media availability one way or the other.
Defense. Are you concerned that their MO is becoming, we'll show up for three quarters, but in that fourth, we might take a little time off?
Yeah, big time issues there. I mean, Amina Kimes had put it out as far as defensive EPA in the first 3 quarters, and the Cardinals defense is one of the best in the league. And in the fourth quarter, they're in the bottom of the league. And, somebody on social media pointed out that the Cardinals defense in the fourth quarter, the last time they forced a punt was in week 1. Outside of that, the opposing offenses have found points. And that's just a trend that I don't think you can kind of overlook. As much as you like what you've seen from Nick Rallis and you've seen from some of the new pieces on this, the Arizona Cardinals have to find a way to get off the field in the fourth quarter. The trends are something that you can't discount, and they have to be able to find a way to make plays when it's absolutely necessary, because the Cardinals, because of how things are just going overall, offensively, defensively, special teams, whatever you chalk it up as, the defense is going to have to make a play to get off the field, and they haven't done it so far since week 1.
He is Bo Brock. Make sure to catch him today and every day at 4:30. Well, not Thursdays when there's a Sunday game, but almost every day at 4:30 on PHNX Cardinals with that guy, JV, Johnny, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Catch him then. Bo, always appreciate it.
Espo, good to have you back, man. Thanks for having me.
That is another episode of Southwest Bias in the books. If you are biased in the chat, hit that like button before you leave. We appreciate it. That helps us out. Also, join and become a member today. You won't regret it. I'm just going to tell you, the emojis you're going to unlock are spectacular. For the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, a big thank you. You can follow him at Shane Dief. You can follow the program at PHNX_sports, and you can follow me at Espo. And remember, we broke the curse. We found a witch. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.